So we're gonna try and just swing this down. We'll sort of work our way across here too, see if we can pick any up in that. There we go. That's a nice coho here. Picked it up right underneath the fast water. I think we're gonna start seeing this bite come on like I was talking about. That's been a few fish chasing it and finally a really nice commitment. Hi, I'm Anthony with End Run Tackle. We're out here in Southeast Alaska fishing silver salmon in rivers. Really slow water, slack water, pools, structure are really good places to consistently find silvers. Sometimes either the river's too high, there's somebody in your hole, or you just don't want to hike that far. You'll fish runs like this. We have some pretty fast water, a riffle here, and then a little bit of a trench moving through. These can also be really good places to find silvers if you know how to do it. If I'm finding myself snagging the bottom or, foul hooking a fish here and there, oh, that one grabbed it, bummer. So right in there, close. I will change my retrieve speed, lighten up my jig, something like that, just to make sure that I'm not abusing the resource. But we just, oh, there's one, smacked it. Oh no, it's a stick. Nice. Nothing eats like a log, folks. Everybody knows that. So there we go. Longest fish we'll see all week right there. We did have one chase that I actually saw the fish, so, we'll work that back through. Oop, that may have been one there too. Bummer. Work that through there, change your speed, pop it through a little bit faster. Oh, that was so cool. I just brought it right up to the surface and the fish just followed it up, smacked it as fast as could be and let it go. My reaction time was not fast enough to catch that fish, but that was a nice silver right there. So there's some in here, let's get them. So obviously, when that jig was up a little higher and we got that nice bite, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna kind of keep that, work it a little faster. That time we got no reaction, so I'll work out a little farther. We're working into this current. Our jig will sink most efficiently if we cast it upstream. We're getting slack from the river, so it will free fall, and it's also being carried by the river. So we'll realize our fastest sink rates if we cast upstream and let it work towards us. If we let it work down beneath us, the current and tension will keep it higher. So we'll need to either put slack on it, let it sink longer between jigs, or both. We'll see if somebody's out here. I've been fishing this river since I was a kid, so from experience, I know it's pretty loggy out in that fast current up here. So I'm not gonna lose any lures here, and I'm gonna kind of just move down a little bit. A couple paces. Oh, that might have been a fish. I'm gonna make one more cast, actually. I'm gonna cast in close to myself and just kind of work that down here. So I'm gonna let it get down, and I'll show you kind of what swinging that jig at the end of a cast might look like, because oh, he's chasing it. Come on, fish. There's just a bunch of fish sliding around through there. I might stay here for a couple more casts. Short cast in close. We'll change our speed if nothing eats it. Sometimes you need to go a little faster or a little slower. That time I didn't get any reaction. So one more. If I don't get any, I'll take a step down, because I can still fish to these fish for a while. In some of these flats, I find that sometimes that swing down at the end is the most effective way to get them, especially the shallower the river is. Right in here, obviously I'm ankle deep. Out there it's probably 4 or 5 feet, and out under that fast water I believe it's about 6 or 7 right now. So step down a little bit, take some casts, we'll work through. I found the bottom, so I'm going to kind of pick it up a little bit. Oh, there we go. Got hammered. Nice silver. Picked that up right in the trough. That's what we like to see. So we have a nice fish on here. He realized there's a problem. That is a nice fish. Man, there's very little better than a nice big coho taking our jig, in close especially. Sometimes they like to fight. Sometimes they kind of just bulldog you around, which is what he's doing. Nice fish here. Not the biggest one I've ever caught, but I'd put him somewhere in the 8 to 10 pound class. We'll swing him down here, gently take care of him. This one ate our pink jig with a orange head. He's kind of not exactly done with us yet. It's cool when those bucks roll around and jump. He's all spun up in there. We're not going to keep any of these fish, so I'm just going to kind of treat them nicely here. Not break my rod in the process. There you go. Thank you, fish. Yeah, that's a pretty fish right off of the salt water. So I'm going to kind of leave him right here. And he absolutely smoked that thing. This might be a her. Okay. Really nice bright fish here. This I thought was a buck. It's actually a hen. Really heavy fish. Well, not super heavy, but you know, like I said, in that 8 to 10 pound class. We're gonna put her back. I think she's pretty much ready. Oh yeah. So off she goes. We're gonna get another one. That was pretty much right away. So we have more to talk about. Let's get one. All right, so we're back here now. I found a new stick in that run, which happens when you're fishing cohos. I just retied a new one back on, so it's only been seconds. There's still a pile of fish in here. We're gonna try and see them. They're rolling out here in the middle, so I'm gonna try and cast more across, so that way I can get a really nice action with my jig all the way down through the middle of this run here. And with a little luck, we'll get one to bite. As I get down below myself, see how I'm slowing my jigs down? The pulses are slowing down. It's coming up, it's pausing, and it's slowly sinking. Changing how you're throwing your lure and presenting whatever it is that you have, whether it be a jig or a spinner, a worm, can be really important. You know, sometimes I've seen it where I've been out here fishing and I haven't been able to touch a fish throwing up above me, and you know, as soon as I change how I cast and more or less swing it, they just start hammering it. You know, I don't know exactly why. There's a fish. That is a pink salmon. So we caught and released a pink salmon. That wasn't what we were after. They also really like jigs. So you get a lot of catch with those. We're gonna speed this up a little bit, see if we can get one of these silvers. There's a nice coho. Grabbed it right on. That is what you wanna see. That is a nice fish. Pulling a lot of drag on us. We're gonna keep nice tension. The way that I like to fish these is with jigging. There's, you know, multiple right answers. I've found that I like short rods that are really stout. It lets me get a lot of feedback. So this here, whoa, nice, big jump. Oh yeah. Lots of drag, obviously. I use 30-pound braided line. It helps me feel the jig really well and set the hook well. There's no drag. God, this fish is hot right out of the salt water. And then I run either 15 or 20-pound fluorocarbon for a bump. And I'm running about 8 or 10 feet. This fish is almost landed here. And we'll, this is a really nice silver, and we're not keeping any fish right now, so I'm just gonna beach this fish and we'll put a picture up in the video of how it looked. But we're gonna turn this fish loose as fast as we can, so I'm gonna stop talking for just a quick second. We had to have the cameraman help us with this fish because we really didn't want to actually beach him. This is a really pretty salmon. We're not out here trying to keep him, so we're gonna keep him wet, you know? But a nice fish, I'll pick him up just for a second, and then we're gonna turn him loose and get another one for you. Oh, not even gonna pick him up. He's gone. Super healthy. Let's get another. So we're back. So that fish, you know, ate it pretty much straight across from me, which is nice. That's a classic way for him to eat. So we're gonna go out into this little bit faster water, see if there's any migrators up there. It's important to stay on top of your jigs, especially in that fast water. Pay attention to how deep they are. They can get kind of on top of you. And also, you know, you don't want to leave a long period of time when you're not tight to it, because those fish will grab it in really weird times, especially silvers. They just do anything they want. There's not really a lot of rules. So we've been seeing some fish roll in this fast water, so I'm gonna throw it out there in this fast water. Give it a second just to get down in there. One rolls right at my feet, of course. We're gonna let that work down. We're also gonna kind of let it come up. We're gonna swing this jig a little bit. So longer pauses between hook sets. We maybe had one tap it there. I don't think it would have been on the bottom. Not a big bite though. I'm gonna throw it right out in the fast. Give it a couple seconds just to sink. I think it's about 6 or 7 feet deep over there, so kind of bumped through one there. Letting it get into that swing zone. We'll see if we can get one to pick it up as it's coming down. We just switched a tide here. We're on the lower end of a southeast Alaskan river here. And so we're about to see the tide come up, which will change the river flow. It will slow down, it will come up significantly. So also that'll bring fish in, which we like. Can see some fish over there. See if we can get some to bite. We'll change our speed a little bit. If you're running through fish that you know are there, sometimes the bite's just off, but you can also change your tactics. And I know there's fish in here. I see them rolling around, they're flashing in there. So they're moving through, they're in there. So we're gonna go slow, small jigs, just kind of towards the bottom, seeing if they wanna just pick up something slow, which they didn't. We can also throw it out. They're in close again, so you can also pick it up, not give it any time, and roll it right near the surface. See if you can get some to chase it. Sometimes they do want to pick their head up. They don't, want something on top of them and moving fast, and they'll hunt that down. They didn't like that. So we'll try one straight across. I think in this area, swinging this jig, because it comes up and gets a little shallower out here, will probably be the most effective. There he is. Not a big fish. This might even be a pink salmon. Humpy. So we're gonna try and just swing this down. We'll sort of work our way across here too. See if we can pick any up in that. There we go. That's a nice coho here. Picked it up right underneath the fast water. I think we're gonna start seeing this bite come on like I was talking about. That's been a few fish chasing it and finally a really nice commitment. That drag got locked up. I didn't even tighten it. It's fully kitted. We're gonna fish out here. We just hooked a big one out of this fast water, so we're gonna kind of focus in there. There's a good number of fish in this inside flat, but they will eat it, I suppose. Need a little more drag here. Feels like a humpy. We've caught and released a couple of pinks here. There's still lots of fish in this fast water, so we're gonna stay out there. We're gonna work this a little bit faster. We did foul hook one, which happens. If you do, sometimes there's not a lot you can do, but in general, if you are foul hooking fish, that means that you're either too deep or you're jigging too hard in a big pot of fish. So that's just something to be mindful of. They're still out there in this fast water. We're gonna try and keep it above their heads and just get a huge whack. Can still see them. There's still some jumping out there. So we're gonna throw it in the fast water. That one might have been a little bit too high above their head, so I'm gonna just slow down the jig pulse just a little bit. Bring it down into that bottom level of current. Wing it all the way in, because they will chase. Right, and actually I don't like that one. So I lost a couple of jigs up there and I threw it in there. So sometimes we'll learn from our mistakes and not just throw it right back in there. We'll work a little bit farther downstream. Throw it a little closer to that bank. There's some salmon rolling on the other side. Get that down in there. Our current is moving pretty heavily in here with a low tide, letting a lot of water out. So we can let that jig really sink. It's not I haven't hit the bottom one time this whole cast, which sometimes is fine, and sometimes you do need to let it bounce and get in front of them. So we'll let this one sink a little bit more. There we go. Now I'm grabbing the bottom. I'll let that work all the way down through. See if there's some right on the outside edge of this current. Oh, got a tap there. In close. So sometimes if you're like, hey, I got something to bite it or hit it or whatever happened there, in close, we'll move in. These fish, they will, if they're traveling, they're traveling. They can go up anywhere. They're strong. If they're resting, they typically will rest in slow water. So we'll try some in close here. We had one chase it out. So I think some of these fish have pulled in here, which is nice. So we're gonna come back in and we're gonna work this inside line. Being mindful to not snag them, because I see a pile of fish in here now. I'm gonna let this go through. And then, sometimes we can talk about the colors. Jig color, in my experience, oftentimes hasn't mattered that much. Oh, so that was a nice bite. I whiffed because I'm chatting. Hasn't mattered all that much, but sometimes it there is a marketable difference in it, Right now I have a black jig on. Looks like we have a humpy again. So these fish came in here and parked, I think. So we're gonna try this inside line for a minute. See if we can get some to take it. We'll vary our speed. How fast, how high in the water column, how aggressively we're moving that jig through the water. And again, I really like to throw over there. I know there's a log there. It just looks so good. We're not gonna lose another jig, because it doesn't matter who you are, losing gear sucks. We don't want that. So, work that through. We have one. Come on, take it right at our feet. He's right here. Oh, no take. So sometimes, I don't often think that the jig color makes that big of a difference in how many fish you're gonna catch throughout a day. Sometimes it will make a little bit of a difference in a short part of the day where it's, oh, they don't really want a pink one anymore, but they would still take black, or they didn't want a black one, but they wanted chartreuse. So, that fish, I've had a few chase it now with no bite. So we have a black rabbit jig with a chartreuse head and then chartreuse legs. So we're gonna put on something a little different and see if that works. So bear with me. If I'm gonna change colors, I typically won't go something similar. So if we have black and chartreuse on right now, I'm almost always gonna go with something really bright, something opposite. So let's do this pink one that has an orange, really bright orange head here. So we're gonna stick with the same style of jig. It's still a rabbit jig, lots of movement out of that bunny. But we're going to see if this color change gets us a little bit more of a commitment out of these fish, because like I said, we're having quite a number of them chase, but not a lot of them committing. So maybe a little bit of a color change will make that better for us. Oh. Clip our tag, and off we go. So we'll see if pink works. We'll go back through our bases. The last couple of fish we've hooked out of here have been in this faster water. So I'm gonna go back out there, see if I can get the same result. Brighter colored fly, we'll see if they respond well to that. Jig. It's the same. Lots of flies here, Dalai Lamas, which are, rabbit flies. Oh, I got it back, I think. I did. Nice. Well, we can leave that in the cut because I've donated, I don't know, just in making this this video here in the last 10 minutes, I've probably donated 3 of them out there to the same kind of little area. But I got that one back, so what a wonderful cast too. I hope we leave that in too. Not everybody's perfect. All right, now we're back at it. We're not gonna lose this one. We're gonna work that through the middle of this trough here, bouncing it through, see if we can get some chases. As we get beneath us, we'll slow it down. There's some fish jumping beneath us. So if you see some fresh fish coming up, sometimes we'll cast straight across, let it down, and we'll see if we can work that down into them. So it might even be below the camera a little bit where this jig is, but that's okay. You can see what I'm doing. We're gonna slow it down, let that work all the way through this slot here. See if we can pick up a fish. We didn't. So sometimes it gets worse, not better when you change colors, but hopefully that's not one of these times. Come on, fish. Give me some love. Nothing here. I do see some fish rolling right through the middle. So we'll try and target that pod, see if they're aggressive. Had a little line twist there. Not really twisted, but just around my reel, so I cast out to straighten that out. So we're gonna work out there. There's fish here. Sometimes we just need to kind of get a bite to start. We have hooked several, so it hasn't been too terrible, but it hasn't been you know, sometimes what coho fishing in Alaska can turn into. So there we go. Oh no, I missed him. Okay, oh, he's chasing it again. Oh, he's at my feet. Oh, you can see it just came up right there. Crazy. We'll see. There we go. Fresh push of fish. Let's get one. Work this jig nice and slow down through here. We have quite a bit of current. We'll cut that. Blooper reel stuff, you know. We're gonna let that swing down beneath us. There will be fish out here in this flat. Hopefully we can get one to just come and smack it. It's coming across. Let that jig get all the way down in there. Pile of fish. Try back out in the faster water. I don't have a very good attention span, so, you know, even if there's sometimes fish, you grab that on the drop, way out in the fast water. That's a really nice fish. Sometimes it's good to not have a good attention span because, you know, we just threw it out 10 feet farther and immediately had a fish eat it. This is a nice big coho. The run this year has been big, which we really like. So this one doesn't really, you know, he's super hooked yet. He's right here at my feet. We put on that pink jig and in just a couple minutes we had a fish eat it. So that was a good change for us. We'll go ahead and pull this fish up here. So this beautiful fish ate one of our pink jigs, just absolutely fresh out of the salt water. Perfect example of a silver salmon. I'm gonna use my right hand to get this hook out. Carefully change it here. Come on, fish. Really buried in there good. Got that hook out. Really pretty fish, absolutely perfect silver. We're gonna turn him loose and go make more for us. Well done. So a little bonus footage. I literally just released that fish seconds ago. The water is still murky where I was in the water. I flipped my jig back out just to kind of get it clear and make sure everything was fine. And this humpy came and just decided that he could not live without that. And I didn't even cast, reel, flip the bail, nothing. I just threw it out there, picked it up, and he was there. So they will be, you know, an arm's length away. So let's treat this lady real nice. We'll just bring her in here. Humpies can get a little crazy. Come on, stop, stop, stop. We're gonna let you go. We're gonna let you go. There you go. You're free. You're free. Nice. Off she goes. So now that we're back here, I'm maybe a couple paces down from where I was, rinse some of the gravel out. If you move down a couple paces, you can try the exact same thing, but if you're fishing over the same fish and they're not in the mood to eat, sometimes you do just want to move a little bit more. So I think there's still some gravel in there. We'll fish out in the mid trough here. That's where that last fish kind of picked it up. Move down a couple paces. We're fishing that run. We're gonna have a moderate jig speed here. So once every couple of seconds or so. It's now down beneath us. We're kind of on that swing. So you'll see my tempo change as it gets down beneath us, and that cast is about done. We'll do the same. We'll run it out in that fast water. We'll see if we can get one out of the really fast, heavy current there. I let those drop a little bit more in the fast current just because, you know, in between your pops, you might move 6, 8 feet, 10 feet. So you kind of want to just make sure it's in the zone as long as you can. Swinging that down beneath us, you can see how I change. Again, my pace gets slower. I think there's some fish in here. So we'll move back into the middle part of the river here. We're right at the bottom end of a tide here, so it should start coming in. We're on the lower end of a southeast Alaskan river, so tide will change this river dramatically multiple times through the day. So we'll see the current slow down, the river come up several feet, and bring fresh fish in on each tide cycle. Ooh, there's one jumping over there. Let's see if we can get him. Throw it all the way across, right in that kind of almost slack right on the other side of that fast water. It's not hitting the bottom, so I know it's deep over there, you know, 6 feet at least. Now we're in that swing zone. I know I'm relatively deep. We're swinging up onto the flat. Nobody's hitting it. I haven't really hit the bottom yet. We're almost beneath us. We'll work it all the way through because sometimes they'll just come out and chase. But let's try and fish that far side. We'll throw a cast over there. Got it right in there. Let it sink for a second. Oh, I maybe just lost everything. Yeah, that was a fish. But I lost my jig. That's what I get for not checking. Probably some fatigued leader line here. Well, you know, on something like that, it's worth talking about our setup here. We'll cut some of that back. So there's really not a right or wrong answer on what you should or shouldn't fish. But I've settled on jigs for me. I like them on short, stout rods. So this one here is 7 feet, 8 inches long, which is just what I like. I've been fishing it a long time. It's one of my favorite rods. I have it on a spinning reel, so it's a spinning rod. And what's loaded up on this reel is 30-pound braid. It gives me really nice hook setting ability, and then also because there's no stretch, I get a lot of feel when I'm running jigs, especially through the water. So then my leader sections, you know, 8 to 10 feet of 15-pound braid. Just decided to get that nice and spun up. Good thing about braid, sometimes you can just pull those knots right through, which it did. So we're gonna go back out there since we just got a fish and popped him off. We have a fresh jig. Throw it down in there nice and deep. Working it slower now that it gets down beneath us. You know, in talking about some of the kit, we can talk about jig color. I've never really been super focused on the color of what I'm throwing. You know, if it's really dirty water, I want something bright. You know, pink is one of my favorites, chartreuse, black and white work really well. There's, you know, all of them will catch fish. Sometimes, you know, on some river they respond really well to pink over black. Oh, missed one there. But in general, they'll all get bit. Weight is probably more important, making sure that you have the right action in where you're fishing. There's one chasing it. Oh, come on, eat it. Nothing. Oh well. So you know, I have pink ones on right now, but I've caught fish today on pink and chartreuse and black and orange and purple. It really, they've all been good. I'm fully blessed. My dad gets to come up here with me, and we're doubled up on fish here. He's down below us. He, you know, kind of as a tangent, deathly allergic to fish. He's anaphylactic, so he can't even touch them, but the guy loves to fish more than about anything. So I'm gonna pause this and help him get this fish unhooked and unhook mine.